Hello, everybody! You are here watching Divide by Zero Gaming. We are bringing you another Starcraft 2 cast. I hope you guys enjoy this one. It's between Rekatanpt and his opponent, who is going to be mAnarch. So I'm here with NS. NS, please say a good word to our audience.
A good word to our audience.
Alright.
I'm so clever.
You punny little punster.
Oh yes.
Anyway,
This map I believe is Shakuras Plateau. We went over this in great detail before the match started, and I still messed it up. But that's okay. So yeah, it is going to be between Terran versus Zerg. Always an interesting matchup to watch. I think one of my more favorite matchups.
matchups.
Yep.
Nice.
Very good grammar we have on this channel. So they're going to be spawning in the top left and top right there, and we're going to pretend that I just didn't have to do the little L's behind my keyboard to make sure I got that one right. Terran player up here in the top right, Zerg up in the top left. Rekatanpt, somebody I'm actually familiar with. I do believe we casted a few of his games back in the day. And mAnarch is someone I have never heard of before this moment, so I can't really say anything about him. But we're going to see how this one goes.
I expect greatness from this guy. I just have a feeling, I'm going to look at APM. He's at 145 versus Renekton's 77. Playing too much.
For like a good 5 minutes before we started this, and you still can't say it.
Yeah. I'm thinking of, we're LoL players, so I'm used to the old switcheroo with Renekton, so that's always good. Anyway, back to the match. We do have, that's scouting drone. He's denied access. There's no way he's getting in. Well, the SUV is outside, so he's actually going to get free scouting. We have a fast expand.
We just kind of have an overlord coming over, so the drone is not entirely lost there. And,
yeah, that's true.
And the drone did also see the 2 barracks at the door anyway, which is kind of the important piece of tech that you wanted to get out of that.
Yeah, I think that he hasn't started any gas production at this. 2 barracks. He's definitely going to be going for some early harass here. He's got to make it happen. He's trying to get this overlord. We're going to see if he gets it. I don't think he's going to be able to.
Not quite sure though. Yeah, overlord gets out of there just fine.
22 HP, so he almost lost that overlord.
And Rekatanpt is going for the fast expand down here, as I think you mentioned. Already got the hatchery up and is going to start mining from that, sending some drones down to start that out and get a little bit of saturation on each of them. Meanwhile, mAnarch actually moving out with some very fast marines, going to be trying some early aggression here, and this could actually be a little bit dangerous for Rekatanpt, putting up a spine crawler, but he doesn't have a queen yet, so all he's going to have to defend against this is going to be, actually he got a few lings out, but he's still not going to have a whole lot to protect against this. And he is bringing an SCV, which tells me we might be looking at a bunker rush right now.
Yeah, if he wants to get that down, he should get that down as soon as possible before that creep spreads too much. He's putting it on the low ground.
On the low ground, not the greatest, but at the same time, it would be much harder for him to move up to the high ground. And we do have 2 queens moving in here now, so I actually think he's going to be in a pretty safe position to hold this off for now.
Yeah, until that bunker goes up, once he gets sight on that high ground, it's going to be really hard for the Zerg to deal with that. He's got to have enough energy for some of those transfuse, and right now he's just getting gunned down. He's off the creep. He could actually lose that queen, but thankfully it gets onto the creep in time, and actually they're going to catch that burrowing spine crawler, and it's going to take a little bit of damage there for free.
Yeah,
but now
that bunker is actually in the range of the spine crawler, so it's going to take some damage, and the SCV is just going to have to desperately try to repair that as fast as he can, but I think he is getting out down on the damage tab.
Yeah, he's trying to transfuse that and keep it alive, but I don't know if he has enough. He almost lost one of his queens, and that spine crawler is going down right now. That's really unfortunate that he put that in.
Another one in the back that's going to be able to keep these marines back, but if he tries to move that forward and keep taking the bunker with it, he's probably going to lose it, so I think he knows better than to do that. And the army is actually moving up to the main base right now, so this could be bad for Rekatanpt, pulling all the drones off to try to deal with this, just trying to get a surround on this. Never the position you want to be in right now, though.
Yeah, this is where he wants to take his damage and do as much damage as he can with these Marines. He's going to lose all of them, but he's trying to do as much economic damage as he can. He went for that early aggression. I don't know how many he got. If we look at the Harvesters, it's 21 to 24, so he actually isn't too bad off. He's sending in more reinforcements now. Some of them are going the wrong way.
Yeah, if you take a look at the units lost tab, it's 950 for Rekatanpt versus only 550 for Anarch, and that's even worse when you take into account that a lot of the units lost for Rekatanpt were Harvesters, so that's going to put a rather large economic dent in. Unfortunately, he does have a fast expansion, which is going to keep him in a good position, but I think he still does suffer a lot of damage from that attack.
Definitely, definitely. If we look at the income right now, he is behind, but that's mostly due to mules, I would assume. In that whole time, Anarch did expand, so now it's 2 base versus 2 base, which is not a good position for Zerg. Zerg definitely always wants to be 1 base up, at least. So he's got to make something happen before that Terran gets out of control. Because right now, if he plays the defense game, I have a feeling like it's not going to be good long term for him.
Anarch is starting to position some of his units in the middle of the map, putting a few on the Zone Logger Watchtower and just kind of clustering up in the middle, so we're probably going to see another little offensive push pretty soon here. Rekatanpt starting to put up a few more spawn crawlers, get some nice static defenses, and that in combination with the Queens should be able to hold off any incoming army for a little while. And he's just throwing down creep tumors everywhere, trying to get the map control, which is always something to be good. Always something good to be doing as Zerg. So.
Especially the increased move speed. I think that's one of the main benefits. If you're fighting on the creep, your Zerglings are getting there faster. They're taking less damage before they can do damage. And just overall, the more creep you have, the better.
Yeah, if we look at the production tab right now, Anarch is starting to get these stim packs for his Marines, so that is going to help him out quite a bit. And meanwhile, back in Rekatant's base, we do have an in-base hatchery going up to try to help with his macro a little bit, and a double Evo chamber for the sake of upgrades going up now as well. Already starting up the metabolic boost to get those speedlings out on the field, and taking out a scouting marine, I think. I missed what that actually was. But
yeah, they actually, it killed one of the creep tumors, which is actually kind of unfortunate. Ooh. So,
yeah, fortunately, Rekatanpt does already have 3 of those going out in separate directions, so
true.
It's not going to be a huge loss for him.
So if we look at the production tab, we do have the level 1 Zerg melee attacks and the metabolic boost coming, so he's going to stick with Zerglings for a while, and he does have an in-base hatchery going down inside his main. And on the other side, we do have a starport coming out, along with some siege tanks and stims, and a lot of good upgrades. We have stims, the combat shields, and the infantry level 1. So he's going to stick with a pretty marine-heavy base, which I think at this point in time is actually what is a really good play. If you can do really good drops with siege tank marine combo, right now he is at the upper hand, so that's definitely going to work. He's using a lot of scans down, which is a lot of money worth of mules, so he definitely wants to know what's going down. We do have the double Evo chamber from our Zerg friend Rekatanpt. Had to think about that name for us.
Good job.
But I think right now is going to be the time where he needs to push out and keep the Zerg down.
Yeah, we
right now
have a fully loaded medevac coming around the field right now. I think it's probably checking for any, like, there used to be a word for this, an expansion not in a conventional place, and I'm totally blanking on the terminology right now. But he is just hidden expansions, that's it. He is scouting around the map for any hidden expansions and probably going to try to take them out with a drop if he does find any. Fortunately for Rekatanpt, he does not have any hidden expansions at this point, and all of his economy is rather nicely secured right now.
Yeah, I really like kind of this map control that our Terran player Anarch is taking here, because right now he has the upper hand. If we look at units at the moment, it's 50 Zerglings, but against 50 Marines, like, it's not 100%. And especially with siege tanks, now that they have siege mode, like, Zerglings is not what you want to be doing right now. This is not a good strategy against Marine siege tank. I don't know if he's scouted that recently, but these Zerglings are actually going to just explode into a gory mess the second they go in there.
One Zergling run up here and get taken out by the siege tank, so he is going to know that that's in play now, and he's probably going to start trying to adjust his build accordingly. He is actually getting centrifugal hooks, so expect to see some of these guys being turned into banelings relatively soon. And if he can manage to get those up the ramp, that could actually help out a ton with the Marine Siege Tank combo, do a lot of good damage in there.
And if he plays like the Burrow Minefield type game, I think that's actually going to work out really well. I like this
Also
kind of
true,
like
yeah.
small, like these 3 Marines that he has here, and he kind of stims them up, just runs them across and gets map control with them, clears out the site. He's actually probably going to lose them, unfortunately,
Yeah,
to
well, he
these
does
speedlings.
does do a good job of kiting some of the speedlings back into the range of the siege tanks whenever that does happen.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's good, and Rekatanpt must be in a little bit of a nervous position right now because every time he tries to move out, he doesn't know exactly where that siege wall starts because mAnarch has done a good job of hiding these guys up on the
Here
high
comes the
ground.
dropship coming for the hit for his third expansion here, and he's definitely going to have to cancel that. There's no way.
That gets taken
I,
out rather quickly by a huge army of speedlings, though, so
yeah.
not the greatest drop in the world right there. I missed. Did he actually manage to get any buildings with that though? I wasn't over.
Well, no, not the drop in the back. I'm talking. He had expanded to the lower to 9 o'clock position where all those Zerglings are now, and it actually got taken out by that medevac there.
Okay, I
So.
apologize. I completely missed that. I was focused on the drop up in the main base at that moment.
And I really think those split drops is going to be really effective. He has 107 Zerglings on the field, but against 7 siege tanks, like if he runs into a bad position on those 7 siege tanks, it's really not going to be a good day for him. He's going for 12 banelings right now, and I feel like right in this situation where he is a little bit behind, he has to make a play happen with those banelings. Right now, he can't really tech up. He's kind of stuck in this really bad situation. So we're going to see what he can do with it. Hopefully he can bring himself back into this game. I like these long games. He's actually catching a lot of Marines out of position here. Free Marines. Oh my god, those all got taken out so fast.
I think you're a little bit ahead of me because that hasn't actually quite happened just yet. We do have a few Marines up here starting to shoot some creep tumors, and I think this is what you're talking about. Yeah, all of them just get trapped in by the speed ones that are taking out quickly, so you are a bit ahead of me right now.
Let me know when you get to the part where Comsat goes down and a couple Marines go and take out some creep tumors.
That's been happening all over the place, so...
Well, it should happen right in the middle of the map. There's a big push going out. I'll start once you get there.
Alright. Well, we do have this little speedling banding army moving around up here, and all of them just getting taken out by some powerful siege shots, but some bandings actually getting taken out 2, 3, I think 3 or 4, maybe even actually all those siege tanks going down. He made really good use of those banelings and took out a huge part of the current army. And he is probably not going to be able to get those last Marines, though. Yeah, they actually does pick them off, but some guys do stray into the siege tank wall, so he does lose more units than he necessarily had to there.
So now I'm playing the catch-up game. I paused for a little bit too long, but that's okay. What time are you at in the replay?
18:08.
Alright.
Alright, so we do have siege tanks moving back up, some Marines starting to move out down in this direction, and taking out a few Zerglings that foolishly strayed into the siege wall there. And one thing I noticed is that Rekatanpt does actually have Zerglings positioned all over the map, burrowed at any of the expansions, just to try to watch for whenever Anarch might start moving out and trying to take those. And in fact, we do have Anarch moving out and taking one of these normal expansions here, and there is a Zergling node, so you can see that node, that expansion is coming.
Not only see it, but he's actually, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to land the command center there. So that's really good, and he's gonna have to waste probably a scan, or he's gonna have to invest in some site to get there. Oh, running all those Zerglings into the siege line. I don't know if that was the best idea, but it's actually probably gonna work out nicely for him if he can get that last siege tank.
He take out a siege tank down below though, so that was actually a pretty good play there. And he does finally use the scan to take out that Zerg, so it can drop the command center. Huge army movement right here. They're going to be able to get one of the siege tanks going, the second one, it looks like they're already going to pick up that one as well. Taking out some of the Marines as well. So he's actually managing to do a really good job with the speedlings just by rushing them past the siege line, taking a few hits, but then as soon as he gets in closer into the siege tanks, he can actually start doing damage because siege tanks are one of the few units that do actually have a minimum range that they can shoot at as well as a maximum range.
Yeah. That siege tank has 15 kills, 9 HP, so he is feeling really good about himself.
Until he dies.
Till he gets it.
Insane.
So taking some damage there from some siege tanks, just losing a couple Zerglings, not a big deal. Zerg has 2,300 minerals, so nothing wrong with that. I guess that never hurts. If we look at production tab, he is trying right now to secure that third expansion. He's putting and fourth expansion, so he's getting some hatcheries going up all around the map. He's getting a fifth actually now, so right now he's going all out. He's getting Zerg melee attacks 3 and the adrenal glands, which actually increases the, I believe, attack speed of Zerglings. So he's really going all out in Zerglings, and right as I say that, he morphs almost all of them into Banelings. So he's going 18 Banelings right now. We can see if he can break the line.
He's starting to move these guys actually back up towards his main base. I thought he was going to move out there, but I don't know. We'll keep an eye on these and see what he does with them for the time being. And he is just kind of waiting out right now. The siege line is slowly pushing forwards, and that is something that Rekatanpt is going to have to keep watching out for, because if he doesn't really bother to keep challenging this and keep trying to take out the siege tanks, they're just going to keep pushing forward and expanding the siege line. And we do have a Hellion or two out on the field now. I think actually just one for the time being. So that could be helpful with these Zerglings, just because those can actually keep up with him and try to do some run-bys and take out some units, especially if he does have the upgraded flame, the blue flame upgrade, which he does not have yet and does not actually quite have the money for, so we'll see if he chooses to get that later on.
We see dropship going around, 2 of them right now. It's a little bit curious there hasn't been any anti-air, as we see there's a Spire going up now. But this medevac has 7 Marines in it and actually only 14 health, so that's, I mean, if there was anti-air, that's kind of a risky play right there, because you could lose all of them with basically 1 or 2 shots right there. So I think he's just playing on the fact that he knows there's no anti-air yet, just the timing of it. For that many Zerglings, he couldn't have teched. And right now it looks like we're going to see almost an all-in here of Banelings.
We do have a lot of Marines actually moving to try to take out this hatchery. He's throwing all the Banelings on top of that to take it out, and it does look like he's just barely going to manage to save that hatchery with 10 HP left, but one last group is going to come in. They are going to pick it off and then run back away. So unfortunately, he did not quite manage to save that. It is pretty bad for him to lose that expansion. And now these Banelings are going to all go in, take out a ton of siege tanks, take out a ton of Marines.
At the same time, though, look at the bottom location expansion for a Zerg player. It's being taken out by a drop here. So that's really unfortunate. No mining there.
Yeah, that have now been lost for Anarch, and 1 Marine got left behind. Feel bad for him. He was running desperately after that dropship and did not make it back. So he's going to have to now try to go down and around, and we will see if he makes it on 15 HP back to his army. I don't think he's going to. He's just going to stim up and start trying to take out as many drones as he can before he gets taken down. Alright, so that is the end of that Marine's life.
Which isn't very many.
Yeah, I think maybe half a drone. Alright, we do have a little group of Speedlings here in the middle of the map, and they're going to move down and start taking out those Marines that were slowly picking off creep tumors. We're going to manage to get all of them. This has been just a lot of little engagements all across the map this game. It's rather interesting to watch. Both players have had pretty good map control and just done a pretty good job. And we do actually have a lot of SCVs just sitting up here in Rekatant's base. You got me saying it now. Just kind of sitting in Rekatant's base, and then some Zerglings came in and attacked them, and they ran away. So, not 100% sure what was going on with that. But he did lose a couple of those SCVs. So,
I think just keeping.
I don't really know what that was all about.
I think he's just probably just keeping the Zerg on his toes, trying to make him fear the drops. I really have to commend him on his his creep spread right now. He's doing a fantastic job on that. All the creeps tumors I'm seeing right now are on cooldown basically, so he's dropping down as many creep tumors as he can, and that's really helping him against the drops. I feel like against the drops you have so much map control.
We do have a big army of mutas actually out on the field now though, and a few of those were caught out of position and shot up by some of the Marines here, so Anarch is going to know that those are in play now, but that is definitely going to help out with the drops if you can keep those just flying around and try to stop the drops. And we do have an army of mutas going back up here, and they are going to start taking out this undefended command center that was trying to move and expand. He did manage to scout that because of the Zergling, and now he's going to start doing huge damage, but a Marine army does come in to force that back, and they are not able to pick it off for the time being. But there is a second command center moving up here, and only 2 Marines to guard it, so we'll see if he manages to try to get that. I don't think he knows it's there, though. They are flying back up, and are they going to spot it? Yes, I do believe they are, and they're going to fly out and try to get it. An SCV building a missile turret, but I don't think it's going to go up in time. All of these Marines running around, and they do, once again, force the mutas back. They do pick up a couple of Marines there, but they're just going to have to fly away. And picking off a few more of the Marines that got ahead of the rest of the group. He is actually just going for a full front-on engagement right now. This looks like he's going to be able to take out all the Marines there, and now he's going to go for this command center, and I'm not quite sure if he's going to be able to pick it up because there are still more and more Marines coming in to try to defend against this. He does stop to attack them, taking out more Marines, but I don't think he's going to have quite enough units to be able to take out all of this and pick off the command center.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I mean, he had such great harass going with that many Mutalisks. Surprised he decided to engage so heavily with them and just kind of like trade bullets, which I feel like he could have kept up the harass. And I really love this burrowed Zergling play, making him waste scans to drop unless he gets a Raven out at some point, which I think would be a really, really good play for him because he's wasting a lot of minerals going for those scans. And just in terms of mules, he could be using that in mules. And right now, just economy-wise, if we look at the economy of the two players, it's about equal, but just look at the number of harvesters Anarch has. He has 108 harvesters versus 60. That's just ridiculous overpowerment in that regard. He has to heal that orbital command, or else that's going to go down. So that's going to be... He's got to work on that soon.
Yeah,
huge!
Mules off to repair that. Although more mutas are coming in here, we're going to see if they manage to do anything. They do take out both those missile turrets. I don't know if either of those manage to get the cancel out in time. But he does manage to get rid of both of those. He does come directly in and try to deal with these missile turrets. He's taking a lot of damage, but he does manage to pick it off. But Thor is now here, and that is going to keep the mutas away from that low ground expansion that was getting weak. So instead, he's going to fly out here, try to pick off.
Oh my goodness!
As soon as he can. He's taking a lot of damage to this missile turret and also to the Viking. And he just puts all of the SCVs on to try to repair that missile turret, so that is not going down anytime soon. Things were definitely a good play to try to keep the mutas back because he does not have enough of them. He only had like 1 or 2, and he is going to manage to... No, actually, he pulls off all of the SCVs at the last second and saves that orbital command.
Oh,
amazing
great play, great play.
Very nicely done by Anarch there, and it is like 2 seconds later back up to full health. That is what you can do with like 2 full tabs of SCVs.
Yeah, I mean... That's really, really good play there. Keeping the missile turret alive, keeping the orbital command alive, and there's nothing you can really do against that with just mutas. Like, he needed his ground army there too, but if he brought in his ground army, it would have just got blown up because of the perfect coverage of siege tanks. He spread a little bit thin, but I think overall it's very powerful.
Yeah, I think what we might need are just some bulkier ground units that could actually manage to endure those siege lines, get in close and start taking out the siege tanks, because as you mentioned, you can't really bring in the ground army, but you need more than just the mutas. And a squishy ground army such as Zerglings and Banelings has actually been working out pretty well for him in the terms of just running around picking stuff off, but I think if he does want to do a full-on engagement, he's going to want some meatier ground units that can actually withstand a couple siege shots to get in there and start just ripping up the ground army.
Definitely. I agree 100%. This game, if it comes down long term, it's not going to be good for our Zerg player. If we look at minerals, he's at about 800-ish, and if we look at our Terran player, he's at about 7,000-ish. So there's a bit of a difference between those numbers. I mean, just the income of the Terran, like, if you're outbased as a Zerg by a Terran, It's usually not a good sign, because Terran don't really need very many bases. Terran are the masters of just hunkering down, boxing themselves in, and waiting for you to run out of mana. Actually catching a medevac full at
Yeah,
the
that
bottom of the map
actually,
there.
I'm ahead of you again, so that happened a little while ago. But
Ah,
you were very loudly exclaiming at a couple of mutas just kind of flying through the sky doing nothing. It was amusing to me.
damn it. What time are you at?
34-25.
Okay.
We do have, this looks very interesting. All of these, like, Zerglings and Banlings in the middle were looking at the exact same point, kind of, like, in the middle of the cluster, so they were all looking in. It was an interesting little thing here, but he is bringing them all up now to deal with a couple of Marines that were attacking this base, and they're going to get taken out very quickly. And, would actually not be surprised if he started trying to take out these destructible rocks and come in and do a little bit of a backdoor attack, because if we look at all of this right now, there's not siege tank coverage on any of these Ghost Academies that are now making nukes. Okay, we missed that earlier on. And actually, he has moved in a couple. Actually, I think that's a sensor tower right there, a siege tank right there. So we do have a little bit of an engagement in the middle, taking out a lot of Marines with the Banlings there. Not going to be able to break this bunker wall, but he did force everybody out of the bunkers. So we could actually rush in and try to take that out, but I do think the siege tanks would be able to protect against that for the time being. The sensor towers are definitely a good play. Many Terran players still don't use those, especially at lower levels, and they're actually really good because they do let you know when an attack is coming in. So that is going to be a huge benefit to Anarch, just knowing when those things are coming in. And we do actually just have a planetary fortress, like, in the middle of the map.
Yeah, I saw that.
Resources or anything. So I've never really seen, like, defensive use of a planetary fortress before, but
When you have 9,000 minerals, I mean, you
Okay,
might
fair
as
enough.
well.
Yeah, you got nothing better to do.
So we do have ghosts being in production now. We have 4 in production right now. We have infestors going down for our Zerg player and broodlords. So broodlords, I like that tech switch personally. I think that's gonna be a great. Unless he gets caught out of position by some Thors or some of those Marines. It looks like we're kind of getting away from Marines. If we look at units tab, there's only 11 Marines left on the field. So if you can just position them away from the 4 Thors that are on the field, I think that the Corruptors are going to be doing a lot of damage to those siege tanks. 10 siege tanks out on the field, which is kind of tearing up his Zergling Baneling ball.
Yeah, we do have the Broodlords starting to move out, and they are going to attack these siege tanks. All of the siege tanks are immediately going to just up and get out of there as fast as they can. They know that they cannot take on the Broodlords. Broodlings are now going to move in and actually take out a missile turret, and they're going to start harassing the Ghost Academy, so we'll see if they can get this down, and yes, so he does actually lose one of his nukes there. That is going to be really bad for him, and he is going to... Rekatanpt is going to start attacking the other Ghost Academy. It looks like he's going to get that one down too, so suddenly Anarch is out a couple of nukes. The Ghosts are going to start cloaking and getting off a few nice snipes there to take out some Broodlords, but definitely did not even out the damage there.
Yeah,
What's going on up on this high ground now, but it's not looking like Anarch actually wants to make any kind of offensive move for the time being. I'm a little sad, honestly, because I wanted to see some nukes, so I'm not exactly happy about the fact that those got taken out. A little disappointed.
Yeah, Rekatanpt, what are you doing? Come on. Just,
Let
no.
them
Just,
juke
yeah.
For the good of
At least let the
the
nukes go
fans.
down somewhere.
Yeah. Even if you juke them. Just... Alright, we do have another attack coming here, and almost managed to take out one of the starports. Throwing down a few infested Terran, actually, with those infested too. Gets down one of the starports. The Ghost getting some very nice snipes off to do a lot of damage. And he did manage to get another one of these starports really low, and that may burn down if no SCVs are brought in time. Although he's still got about 250 health in that, so we'll see if he notices that he's burning. Broodlord's taking up the refinery now, and I don't think they quite have the range to take into planetary fortress, but they are going to start moving in. The Viking is coming in on the high ground, and those are going to start taking out quite a few Broodlords. And Rekatanpt has a lot to deal with that. He is moving in his... No, actually he's not. He started to move in his rather large ground army, but he is no longer going to be doing that. So he is moving down, took out that starport that was on low health, and now Anarch is moving his ground army up, and it's going to be a full frontal engagement here. Getting a nice round of some of the Zerglings there, a little bit of fungal growth going down, doing a lot of net damage to the Marines and the the Marauders, but the Siege Tank is killing a lot of these Zerg units here. I did hear a few Ghosts styling there as well. And just, he really, Rekatanpt needs to be careful that he's not throwing units needlessly into the Siege line. Actually getting both of those Thors out of there on very low health, using the medevacs to evacuate them. You got the box stuff below him now. Now he is dropping them in once again, but I don't think he wants to put those back into the battle because they could easily take a lot of damage here now. And now sending a Queen in to try to take on a Thor, not the best of ideas, but he did manage to pick it off with the blue Thors. So now that most of the army has been destroyed for Anarch, I think Rekatant's just going to be able to start pushing in again and trying to pick off a few more of these siege tanks with the Brood Lords. Doesn't look like there's really anything in the area to deal with it right now. There are still Thors on the high ground, but they're not going to be particularly effective against the Brood Lords, and they're also both on really low health. And Rekatanpt has like 10 Brood Lords at this point, something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, 10 Brood Lords. I'm surprised he didn't go in for a couple of those tanks. I feel like he could have done a lot of damage to the tanks. 16,000 minerals right now. I mean, if I was him, I'd just give the Zerg some of my minerals, make it a little bit more fair. What are you going to do with 16,000 minerals? Now 17,000.
Just planetary fortresses everywhere.
I guess so. Unfortunately, it doesn't attack those pesky air units because right now he's losing a ton of those tanks to those Brood Lords, unfortunately. Actually losing a Ghost there as well.
Yeah, he is bringing in the Vikings now, though, so those might be able to deal with the Brood Lords with some nice fungal growth going down and doing a lot of damage to these Vikings. Still picking off the Brood Lords, though, and all of those Vikings going down simultaneously. Wow, that is the power of fungal growth. And so now he is starting to send in all of his Brood Lords. He's taking out some of his missile turrets in the middle. He's going to start taking out these bunkers as well, I think. Even going for the planetary fortress a little bit. Probably going to start taking out the siege tanks. So he is just kind of breaking this entire structure in the middle, and there's not a lot Anarch really has at the moment to deal with this, unfortunately. He does get the planetary fortress down, does get both of the siege tanks, now he's just going to start turning to the bunkers that don't even have anybody in them, so those are easy pickings for the time being. And I'm surprised Anarch didn't try to salvage any of those, actually, because you can just salvage those and get all of your minerals back, I believe. Unless they...
Yep.
No, they did actually nerf that now to 75% of the minerals back, not 100%, but... I mean, still, that's better than just losing it, which is what effectively happened in the middle there.
Yeah, that's true. I'd like to see some more producing structures out of our Terran buddy here. Maybe go for something crazy, like do some... I don't know, just do some, like, crazy stuff. Like, I want to see mass battle cruisers coming out of that. Like, the problem is he has no gas. Like, he can only make really Marines because he has, like, 100 gas.
Yeah.
But if that's true,
really
like...
a lot of mining bases that are producing gas for him right now, either.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
actually,
true.
He's got, like, both of these, and he's not actually harvesting out of this refinery at all, which is something he might need to fix a little bit, because that is definitely putting him behind. And he has one SCV just, like, holding a gas canister chilling in the middle of the mineral line there, so we'll see if he gets that sorted out anytime soon. He does have this expansion going on, which is completely untapped for the time being. There are only 2 mules going at it, and still hasn't even built any refineries here, so he
Great
also...
Brood Lord. Oh, a lot of fungal growth. Look how low all those Vikings are.
They are coming in here, gonna start trying to attack all of the Brood Lords, but all these guys are getting pushed back by the Prince, and they're getting some of the fungal growth, and putting them on relatively low health. The Marines and the Thors coming up inside here, but all those Vikings, I think, are gonna go down. They have just a little bit more health, and then they turn around and start shooting the Brood Lords with one more fungal growth. Let's take them all out. And Rekatanpt is making a really powerful comeback here, getting a really good unit composition to just hold back everything that Anarch tries to throw at him. We do have a little bit of a drop going on in the background, but there's actually, much to Anarch's surprise, not a hatchery up here, unless he already killed it, but I don't think he did. So he just has a few units chilling in the back here, and he might actually want to try to do something with those and try to get a drop off somewhere instead of just leaving them there. I'm not sure if he actually knows the guys there. And we do have another attack coming on here. Vikings still trying to pick off some of the Brood Lords, but they're just coming in with so much damage, and there's not a whole lot that Anarch can really do against this. He's just losing so many of his structures, and it's just a really good unit composition right now.
Yeah, Broodlord, Mass Queen, like 17 queens, all with full energy, just being able to transfuse. Not a lot you can do against that. That's something that's probably one of the most difficult things to come back from, because there's not a whole lot you can do against that. And these Broodlords can just come in and absolutely destroy. They have the level 3 air weapons, so those broodlings are doing massive amounts of damage. They have even 3 armor on top of that, so those broodlings themselves are actually harder to kill at this point. And
he's just kind of moving in at this point and taking out all of Rekatan's main base, so Rekatan is going to have to try to I can't talk. Try to start doing all of his production at this lower base here. He does have a couple starports, a couple factories, a couple barracks. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have add-ons for any of them, so it's going to be hard for him to actually start up his production again just based off those. And we do have this huge line of Zerglings running out across the map. I'd actually like to know where they are going to. I think he is sitting in the back to try to clean up this drop in the main base, and it does look like Rekatan's probably going to lose this hive before anything comes in to deal with it. It does go down, and he's now going to start moving in, and probably going to try to take out this hatchery, but all of those Zerglings are out, and they are going to finish this armor off rather nicely. So I do think that was pretty much Anarch's desperate last-ditch move there, and there's not really much he's going to be able to do at this point. He's just forced back onto pretty much one mining base at this point. He had his main production facility completely shut down. If we look at the productions tab right now, he is not actually making any units. He's putting tech labs and all of these structures down here to try to get himself back into this, but I just don't think there's anything you can do.
Yeah.
Especially with this huge Zerg army slowly moving down here. I mean, if we look at the units tab right now, it's 12 Broodlords, 23 Queens, 13 Infestors against a Thor, 7 Vikings, 3 Marines, 2 guys. So I think this is going to be the GG. Vikings trying to engage here, trying to pick out some Broodlords, but we do have all the Infestors coming in here with the fungal growth, going to destroy them all rather effectively, and I think this is going to be the end for Anarch.
yeah, those fungal growths, you can just stack them up, can't even move as a unit, and just all of them going down simultaneously.
GG from Anarch. So, yeah, that was a fairly impressive comeback for Rekatan.
Yeah, it just goes to show, I mean, if you have 16,000 minerals, it means you're not building enough units. Whether he was supply capped or, I mean, he just let the Zerg come back from the position he had him in. He did good harass in the beginning. It wasn't perfect. I mean, it sort of equaled out. I mean, Rekatan, I mean, Rekatan didn't take a huge damage from that early attack, but it was enough that it was worth it for Anarch. So, I mean, but the thing was, he was on 2 bases, and Rekatan was on 2 bases, and it was right then, that was the time that it was 100% in the Terran favor, and he just sat back and tried to play the harass game, when really what he needed to do was just go in the main door and end it. Just dominate the resources, drop in the resources line. Don't just contain, because the contain didn't work for him. But actually go in and just kill, because the forces were 100% stacked in his favor.
Yeah, I think the thing that Rekatan did really well was just being very mobile with that huge ball of Zerglings and Banlings that we saw, and he was just kind of running all over the map and managing to do a very good job of keeping Anarch from advancing that siege line too far, and just kind of picking off the siege tanks wherever he could, picking off a lot of the Marines, and just doing a really good job harassing there and slowly breaking that contain, and then finally massing up the huge army that we saw at the end and just pushing out and destroying everything in his path.
Yeah, you pointed out a really key thing, which I have to agree with you 100% on, which he did not want to be contained. And every time those siege tanks got a little bit too close to his base, he would roll in with his big Banling Zergling ball and just completely dominate them and show the Terran that it's not all right to encroach on his personal space. I think the creep that he spread was a key part of that, because if we look at the map at the end there, I mean, it's like 75% covered with creep. Not a lot of Zerg players are that good at spreading creep. I mean, that's just something that you always have to be constantly doing, is spreading your creep, and that's not very easy to do in the heat of battle. But that extra movement speed...
One thing I always lose track of whenever I'm playing Zerg is I always just kind of forget to be spreading that creep. And I think part of it is that it wasn't even a factor in StarCraft 1, so it's a very
Yeah,
big playstyle adjustment that you have to make to just constantly be remembering to do that. So,
definitely, definitely.
anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, be sure to hit the little subscribe button for more of these videos. Feel free to leave a comment or hit the little like button or the dislike button if you didn't like it, is what it's there for. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Peace out.